What if I told you that one of the greatest heists in history wasn't pulled off with machine guns, armored vehicles, or explosions, but with shovels, picks, and sheer patience? That in the summer of 2005, a group of ordinary men tunneled beneath an entire city street, straight into the vault of Brazil's Banco Central, and vanished with over $70 million in cash? This wasn't just a robbery. It was a subterranean masterpiece, an inside job carried out beneath the feet of an entire city, right under the nose of security systems, alarms, and the police. And yet, the story didn't end with escape. Because when the money disappeared, so did trust, loyalty, and even lives. This is the true story of the Banco Central heist, Brazil's tunnel to fortune. The story begins not underground, but in the sun-drenched streets of Fortaleza, Brazil, a busy coastal city known for beaches, commerce, and a central bank that held unimaginable sums of currency. By the early 2000s, whispers of opportunity circled Brazil's underworld. Unlike armored cars or jewelry stores, the Banco Central had something no other target could match: bulk cash. At the time, the bank served as one of Brazil's largest money repositories, holding billions in currency for circulation. Inside its Fortaleza branch, on Rua 25 de Marco, sat 3 metric tons of cash, much of it worn banknotes scheduled for destruction. To criminals, it looked like trash. To insiders, it looked like treasure. The scheme began with a group of thieves led by Luis Fernando Ribeiro, a man with no military background or engineering degree, but a knack for organization and a bold imagination. His vision: why fight guns and alarms when you can bypass them completely? Instead of storming the vault, they would dig into it. And so the dream of the perfect crime took root. The thieves rented a modest property 2 blocks away from the bank, under the name of a front company called Grama Sintética Artefatos de Barachalta, pretending to sell artificial turf. To neighbors, it looked harmless: men hauling soil, vans moving in and out, workers coming and going. The business was a facade, and behind its locked doors, the most ambitious heist in Brazil's history was underway. From that warehouse, they began digging. Astonishing 256 feet, longer than a football field, running directly beneath the street, dodging sewage lines, power cables, and the curious eyes of city workers. The tunnel was an engineering marvel. It measured 70 centimeters wide and 1 meter tall, reinforced with timber beams and plastic sheeting to prevent collapse, and even had electric lighting and rudimentary air circulation. For 3 months, the thieves labored underground like moles, hauling out nearly 200 tons of soil, discreetly scattering it in trucks that made routine deliveries. Above ground, the city bustled, unaware that beneath its streets, a second world was being carved, a secret artery leading straight into the bank's heart. By August 2005, the tunnel was complete. The final obstacle stood: the reinforced concrete floor of the Banco Central's vault. With diamond-tipped drills, they broke through, emerging like shadows into the secured chamber. No alarms, no motion sensors, no guards inside the vault. For all its sophistication, the bank had overlooked the simplest weakness: the ground beneath it. Over the weekend of August 6th to 7th, when the bank was closed, the crew moved swiftly. They filled 7 large containers with cash, almost entirely in used, small denomination bills, making it nearly untraceable. In total, the haul weighed 3.5 tons, and amounted to 164 million Brazilian reais, roughly $70 million at the time. By Monday morning, the vault was lighter by millions, and the criminals were gone. To the outside world, the vault looked undisturbed until bank staff opened it. What they found stunned them. Gaping hole in the floor, dirt scattered like evidence of an underground invasion, and the largest theft in Brazil's history. The news broke across Brazil like wildfire. Headlines screamed: "The tunnel to fortune. The heist of the century. The government panicked. The Banco Central was a symbol of stability, and now it had been humiliated. Citizens asked, if thieves can dig into a central bank, what's safe anymore? The stolen money was nearly impossible to trace. Unlike diamonds or gold, cash in small bills could be spent anywhere. Authorities feared it would fuel organized crime, narcotics trafficking, and corruption. For the thieves, victory was intoxicating. But with sudden wealth came visibility. Trucks, mansions, and cars appeared in neighborhoods that had never seen such luxury. The police quickly noticed. Soon, arrests followed. A man named Devaner Viana bought 10 cars in cash. Another spent lavishly on jewelry. Thieves' discipline unraveled, their invisibility shattered by greed. The heist had been bloodless. The aftermath would not be. With so much cash and so many conspirators, trust was fragile. Rival factions formed. Some wanted to launder money through businesses. Others simply wanted cash in hand. Then came violence. In the months after the robbery, at least 10 people connected to the heist were murdered. Kidnappings, executions, and mysterious disappearances plagued the group. One chilling case involved Luis Fernando Ribeiro, the suspected mastermind. Just months after the robbery, he was kidnapped and killed, his body found in a shallow grave. Police suspected his own partners had betrayed him. It was clear, the money was cursed. What had been stolen with silence and patience was now being lost to noise and bullets. Brazilian authorities launched one of the largest investigations in the nation's history. Federal police, Interpol, and local task forces combined efforts. Roadblocks appeared. Currency with specific serial numbers was flagged. Still, tracking down loose bills proved almost impossible. Unlike electronic transfers or diamonds, cash flowed invisibly. Authorities estimated they recovered only $20 million of the stolen fortune. Yet, over 120 suspects were arrested in connection to the heist, from tunnel diggers to financiers to getaway drivers. Courtrooms filled with men who had lived double lives, laborers by day, millionaires by night. But even as justice rolled forward, a haunting truth remained. The majority of the money was never found. Years passed, but the legend of the Banco Central heist grew. For ordinary Brazilians, it became a story of audacity, criminals who had outsmarted the system without firing a shot. For law enforcement, it was a humiliating scar, a reminder that even the most secure institutions had vulnerabilities. The tunnel itself became a symbol. Journalists described it as a work of criminal art. Engineers marveled at how untrained men had built such a structure. Yet the legacy was not only architectural. It was also human, widows left behind, children raised without fathers, and millions still missing in circulation. The heist showed how quickly wealth could turn to violence, and how betrayal could undo even the most patient plan. The Banco Central heist wasn't just about money. It was about vision, the vision to dig where no one looked. Oh, imagine a crime no one expected. For 3 months, men worked in silence beneath a city, driven by greed and dreams of freedom. And for a moment, they succeeded. But in the end, the tunnel that led them to fortune also led them to ruin. Of the 70 million stolen, most was never recovered. Of the men who took part, many are dead or in prison. And the tunnel itself? Sealed, abandoned, a scar beneath Fortaleza's streets. Proof that sometimes, the perfect crime is only perfect until human nature takes over.